We got it going. Yes. Hello, everybody. And thank you for joining us for tonight's youth group live. We have a very special witness and testimony coming up. If you're coming here from the Archdiocese with your youth group, you're in the right place. If you're here just as a Kid Catholic viewer, then know that this is a live youth group night for the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City. We have a very special testimony with Jackie and Yuan, so let's get right into that.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. I'm a sophomore at Bishop McGinnis, and I'm here to share with you some of the ways that I've been able to live out the spiritual works of mercy while in quarantine. So before this whole thing happened, I was blessed to be able to go to a Catholic high school where we were able to have a lot of prayer opportunities. So we would start our day off with prayer and end our day with prayer, and we also had adoration, confession, daily mass scattered throughout the week. So not being able to have this daily routine really hurt my faith life and left me kind of distant from Christ. I also had a lot of anxious thoughts, and I was asking questions of, why is this happening? What's going to happen next? And I was just honestly scared. And so about a week into quarantine, I got a text from Tracy, who's the youth minister at Epiphany, and she asked me to join their prayer Zoom group every morning. And this kind of got me back into that routine of, implementing prayer into my everyday life, and helped me start my day off right before, school started. And so whether she knew it or not, Tracy was living out the spiritual work of mercy of counseling the doubtful, because she put that hope in me that, everything was going to be okay, and if I just put my trust in God, then I would be all right. So last November, I was able to go to NCYC, which is the National Catholic Youth Conference in Indianapolis. I had an amazing time. I highly recommend, if you can go, please go. It's amazing. But you meet a lot of new people from around the country when you go, and so I kept in contact with this one girl from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we were just texting back and forth one night, talking about how this pandemic has affected our faith life, and we both wanted something that would kind of reignite that fire beneath us, so we decided to start a virtual Bible study. So we invited a few of our friends, and we created a little group of the 5 of us, and we've been able to meet every day at 3, and just talk about how our day is going, read a Bible passage or two, and just share what we got from the passage. So going back to the spiritual works of mercy, one of them is to instruct the ignorant. And so when you read a Bible passage, you see different things from different perspectives. So we've been able to learn a lot from each other. Another spiritual work of mercy is Admonish the Sinners. And so as a group of 5 of us, being able to meet every day and just check in, we've been able to keep each other accountable. And, remind each other, hey, go to Mass, watch Mass, or if someone's not showing up for a couple days, then we just, encourage them to get back into it. And so that's been really helpful in improving my faith life during this time. So to wrap this up, I really encourage you guys to reach out to someone who you might not have talked to in a while, ask them how their day is going, and maybe even encourage them to go to a Bible study with you, because you kind of never know what impact it'll make on their life. So that's all I kind of have. I hope you all have an amazing day, and stay safe, and I hope we can be together again soon.
Sorry guys, we're having a little technical issue trying to fix it. There we go. Okay. We good? Set? Sorry guys, we had the little box on my face because I was thinking autofocus, and then I was like, oh wait, no, that can't happen. So thank you, Jackie. Sorry once again. Thank you, Jackie. That was an incredible, oh my gosh. Okay, thank you, Jackie. That was an incredible testimony. We're having a little bit of issues. I really apologize, guys. I really thought I had this sorted out beforehand, but there we go. There we go. This will not happen again. Okay, please bear with me. It's quarantine. I'm tired. Anyway, thank you, Jackie. We're gonna get back into it. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you, Jackie, for that wonderful testimony. And she exemplifies the perfect way to complete these spiritual works of mercy, and perfect way to reach out to others and help others when we're in quarantine. Because when talking about service, we talk about not only serving God, but serving others as well, right? Being neighborly to others, loving one another as ourselves. We have to serve and help others, but how can we physically do that when when we're in quarantine, when we can't physically be with them, and that is through those spiritual works of mercy. And Jackie displays the perfect way to accomplish that virtually, while not being able to physically be with someone, but being able to be there for them spiritually. And so thank you, Jackie, for that. And so I wanted to expand on that and talk about that a little bit, but I want to start off with telling you guys a story, because this story is one that you may have heard before. Okay, so this story is about a man who was really hated in the town that he was in. People did not like him, right? He was extraordinarily hated, but he was very good. And while he was hated from some people in the town, others in the town absolutely loved him and followed him because he was a good person, right? And he was there for us. And so because he was hated by others, he was tortured and hurt and then sentenced to death. But while he was on his way to go die, he could not handle the torture. He could not handle the burden. And so while this other man was commanded to go and help him, while he was commanded and forced to, he still went and helped the man lift these burdens and go through that torture so that he could die. And that man's name, the man in the town, his name is Jesus, and the man who helped him, his name is Simon. When Jesus was carrying that cross, he couldn't do it on his own. He is the God of the universe, right? He's Jesus Christ. He came to die for our sins, and he was doing it for us, and yet he still could not lift his cross on his own. He needed help, and Simon came and helped him. We all have our own crosses that we are to carry. And while they're not actual physical crosses, like the cross of Jesus that he was carrying, right? They are crosses. They are our burdens that we need to deal with and that we need to handle. But we can't do it on our own. We need the help of others. That's why that service and that's why that being there for others is so greatly important. And that's what the spiritual works of mercy represent. Those spiritual works of mercy are the works and ways that we can help others without physically being with them. And so that's something that we need to take into account and be able to accomplish. So, really quickly, I want to go through the spiritual works of mercy. There are 7. They are to console the doubtful, to admonish the sinners, to instruct the ignorant, to bear patiently those who wrong us, to forgive offenses, to comfort the afflicted, to pray for the living and the dead. And there are a couple that I want to focus on, but I want to start off by saying, why do we need to complete the spiritual works of mercy? Why can't we just go up to someone and be like, hey, I hope you're doing all right? Why can't we just encourage others, talk to them, be there for them? Well, of course, those things are all very important, and speaking with others and helping them through our words, all of that is very important. However, the saying, actions speak louder than words. Instead of just saying that we're there for them, and instead of just saying that they are loved, we need to show that. There's this one Bible verse that I want to read. I have it right here. It's 1 John 3:18. It reads, "Little children, let us not love with word or with tongue, but in deed and truth." In deed and truth, right? Actually doing things to express that love and to show that love. And that is when the spiritual works of mercy come into play, and the corporal works of mercy. But once again, right now in a time like this, we can't complete those corporal works of mercy. So that's when the spiritual works of mercy come into play. So one that I want to talk about specifically is to instruct the ignorant. Now this may sound a little off. This may sound like, oh wow, so you have to go and tell someone that they're wrong. You have to come and be like, hey, listen here. I'm right, and I'm instructing you with your ignorance, right? No, that's not the way we want to approach that. To instruct the ignorant does not mean to just go up to someone and be like, hey, you're wrong, by the way. Like, now I'm instructing you that you're wrong because you're ignorant. No, that's not what that means. To instruct the ignorant is to let someone know if they don't know something, right? Because there are some people who may have misconceptions about the Catholic Church, who may not know things about the Catholic Church simply because they do not know. Does that mean that everywhere we go, we need to give everyone a homily? No, absolutely not, right? But we still need to be there for others, and we still need to lead others to the Catholic faith. So when talking about instructing the ignorant, what we need to do there is we need to help those who don't understand, or help those who don't know. Maybe not by a homily, maybe not by forcing something onto them, but by having conversations with them, instructing them when they may not know things. And it's not a bad thing to not know things. It's not a bad thing for people to ask questions, but the Catholic Church has an answer for everything. And so just because someone doesn't know something, they shouldn't be left in the dark. We should go and help them, and not by giving them maybe a whole long homily, and not by telling them that they're just completely ignorant, because that's not true. To instruct the ignorant means to help someone if they don't know something, right? And maybe it's not about the Catholic Church, maybe it's about anything, right? Another one is to admonish the sinners. And again, we're not priests. We don't have the power to just completely remove someone from their sins and be like, okay, you're sinless now, way to go. That's not what that means, right? To admonish the sinners to mean if someone is sinning and if someone is doing something really bad and sinning and going against the Catholic Church, we want to help them and we want to let them know that we are sinning. Because we can't judge people. We cannot judge a human being. That is up to God. But we may judge their actions. And so to admonish the sinner is to help someone who might be sinning, and maybe even without knowing it, who might be sinning. So those two kind of go hand in hand, and they can sound kind of off when we hear them on first glance, but that is actually not what they mean. And you see, complete these spiritual works of mercy, I'm not asking us to just tomorrow, we have to wake up, go through the list, and be like, okay, I completed the first spiritual work of mercy, the second spiritual work of mercy, the third, what else do I have to complete, right? No, I'm not asking that we just have to do all of these every single day to as many people as we know, but that we need to work to complete them. Because imagine having to carry our cross on our own. Imagine having to carry this difficult burden that we bring with us throughout this journey of life on our own. It's difficult, right? It's difficult. We would want someone to help us and do these spiritual works of mercy to us, right? Wouldn't we want that? And so we would want to do that as well to someone else, right? Because the two greatest commandments, they are to love God above all else and to love one another as ourselves. And if we want people to do these spiritual works of mercy and to help us carry our cross, then we need to help others carry their crosses as well. And it starts a little bit at a time. Maybe we're doing that already, like Jackie displayed, right? During quarantine, she's done little things like creating a whole virtual Bible study, which is so cool. She's helped people, right? And maybe the way that we're supposed to help people is a different calling. Maybe it's a different way than that. But whatever it might be, we need to work toward that, even if it's just a little bit at a time. The rest of the spiritual works of mercy, to console the doubtful, and that is very, very necessary. Because if we see someone going through something, if we know that someone's maybe going through a rough time, whether we're friends with them or not, reaching out to them, being that person they can reach out to is so vitally important. And it can impact people's lives, right? Have you ever had someone who was just always there for you, who was there for you no matter what? Didn't that impact your life? Then wouldn't you want that in someone else's life as well? Another one, to bear patiently with those who wrong us. This one might be difficult because it's our human nature that when someone does something against us, we just immediately want to retaliate and to get back at them and to show them how angry we are with them. But this isn't what's necessary. This isn't what should be done, right? Because yes, there's this human instinct to get back at them and to be angry with them, but to bear them patiently, to bear those wrongs patiently, to forgive them. God is all merciful. We need to display that mercy as well. And so to bear those wrongs patiently. Maybe it's not even someone who did something against us. Maybe it's someone who did something wrong and we're just so impatient about it. But to bear those wrongs patiently is so vitally important. To forgive offenses, that goes along kind of with bear wrongs patiently, right? To not be angry at them, to not retaliate, but to forgive those who harm us, to turn the other cheek. To comfort the afflicted, this goes along with to console the doubtful, right? But to comfort the afflicted, those who are going through a rough time, to be there with them. And the difference between these two, to console the doubtful and to comfort the afflicted, is maybe to console the doubtful is words of encouragement, and maybe to comfort the afflicted is words of empathy, is words of, hey, I'm here for you, right? And that's something that we all need in our lives. And to pray for the living and the dead, this is something that I've been working on extra, because when I first hear this, you think, yeah, you need to pray for the living, but why would I pray for the dead? They're either in heaven or in hell, and we don't pray for them. Well, that's not true. We need to pray for the souls in purgatory. There are souls in purgatory who need to be cleansed from their sins before entering heaven, and the only way they can get there is if we pray for them. So that's very important. Now, I know that this list may seem long, and it may be like, whoa, I have to do all of this. I have to do all of this just to help someone carry their cross. And I'm not asking us, again, to wake up tomorrow and be able to complete everything. But we need to work towards the point where we can be like, you know what? I got this. Every day I got this. And yeah, it's okay for us to not be there now. But we need to work to get there, because since we're young, we have an advantage. We can start those spiritual works of mercy. We can start building that relationship with God now, so that by the time we're an adult and things get harder, we've already built that relationship and we've already been able to perform those spiritual works of mercy. Listen, we need to be there for others, whatever they're going through in their life. We need that. Others need that. Wouldn't you want that? Someone to just be there for you, someone to just reach out for you? And we need to do the same. And maybe if we're going through a rough time and we don't have anyone, it's okay to reach out, to ask for help with whoever it may be. It's necessary to perform these spiritual works of mercy and to help others carry their crosses. just like how we need others to help carry ours. And it's not just others, it's God. It's not just like God is leaving us here with this big cross and he's here and he's like, all right, there are your burdens. You guys can help each other. I'm out of this. No. God needs to help us too. God is here to help us. God is always waiting and he's always has his arms open, wide open for us to run to. So maybe if we don't have anyone, then we need to turn to God as well. It's God and others. We need help. We cannot carry this cross alone. Not even Jesus, the God of the universe. When he was here on earth, when he was fully man and fully divine, he couldn't carry his cross on his own. He needed Simon. He needed help, right? Just like we need each other and we need God. And so how do we look at these spiritual works of mercy and say, okay, well, how do I practically do something under this? Well, that's something that I want you guys to take into your small groups on Zoom, that I want you to take into account. Like, okay, I know the spiritual works of mercies. I know what I need to accomplish, but how? How do I practically do it? And so if you could take that into your youth groups and small groups and Zoom and talk about that. And something else that I want us to do is we have a challenge for this week, right? We've had a challenge, everyone, because it's not only important to sit here and listen to what I'm talking about and to what Jackie talked about, right? But to actually look at it and take it into account and take action on that. So I have Griner to come in and explain our challenge for this week. Okay, well, having a little bit of difficulty there. You gotten it? Here, hold on. We're going to pull this up really quickly. We need a little bit of, sorry. Okay. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Griner, if we could have you come on. There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So like he said, we have another challenge this week. So it's more like the last time. So your youth ministers have a graphic of practical ways to practice these different spiritual works of mercy. And so what we want you to do is we want you to find one of the spiritual works of mercy that you feel you need to work on or that you most want to practice, and figure out a practical way you can practice that. So for me, it could be bearing wrongs patiently, and that's when you're frustrated with someone, to not retaliate, freak out. Maybe you just have to take a step back. And for me, that's mine. Or for someone, that it could be comforting the sorrowful, and they could talk to their friends or help them and be there with them, whatever that is. And whatever you want to practice from that list is your choice. And so what we want you to do is practice one of those in the next couple weeks. So yeah, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so that was Griner's, was bearing wrongs patiently. What I'm going to do, how I'm going to take this challenge and use it practically is I am going to choose to pray for the living and the dead. And I know that this may sound pretty simple, but I don't think we pray for the souls in purgatory enough. And so I actually have a book of Catholic prayers with the indulgence prayer every day of the week for the souls in purgatory. There we go. And I highly recommend you look up indulgence prayers for every day of the week for the souls in purgatory. It's just a quick little prayer that we can do for those souls in purgatory. And so that's something that I am going to start doing and incorporate into my daily devotional. So again, I highly recommend for this challenge, you pick out just one spiritual work of mercy and something practical that you can start doing every day and make it a habit to where you continue to do that. So thank you all so much for coming to this live youth group night for the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City. It's been awesome. So thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. If you're new here or if you're just a kid Catholic viewer, remember that this is a virtual live youth night. But if you want to share this channel and video, that would be greatly appreciated. So again, thank you all for coming. Remember to take that into your small groups in Zoom. Take that into your small groups, how you can practically live out these spiritual works of mercy. So thank you guys for coming, and we will see you all later. Bye.